थोड़ा सा इंटरेस्टिंग कीजिएगा 2 मिनट.
Can you speak something, Dr. Sachin? So that let's check the audio of this.
Yeah. So this presentation of mine is divided into 3 parts. There will be a brief discussion on artificial intelligence.
Okay.
Because then we have ecosystem for artificial intelligence and a case study in healthcare.
Okay. The audio is clear. The audio is not clear.
Not clear.
Is clear.
Okay, is clear. Okay.
Is clear.
Okay.
But the video is not clear about in your side.
Okay. So let's check with the presentation.
No.
Okay.
First, let me first give a formal introduction. Then we will go into the webinar. Once we start the webinar,
Okay.
give the formal introduction. Thereafter, you can just get into it. For the third day of our webinar, 8th webinar series from Gandhigam Road Institute, deemed to be university. We are handling many subjects, different subjects, and all these subjects are very important to all the people, not only the students, but also for a general public also. This webinar has been on the instruction of Chancellor Dr. K.M. to whom we are very thankful today. In spite of being simple and humble, the support of our Vice Chancellor in charge, Dr. Nirbhar, and our Registrar, Dr. Kumar, has helped us to bring this webinar to a world-class webinar. It will be very important to mention here the alumni fraternity of Gandhigam Road Institute, not only in India but in abroad also, in US, UK, and so on and so forth. They are also very happy indeed to join us in this webinar. They are watching in a different timing because of the international timing, but still, yes, the response they are giving is very encouraging. The subjects are chosen very carefully, and the speakers. I should thank all the speakers, each and every single person who has come in. And they have done their level best. Very clearly, undisputed efforts in their presentations and the theme and the topic. They have done justice 100% to this webinar series. In the same line, today we have a very different subject and a very different speaker, very renowned speaker rather. We are now going to have the session, the role of artificial intelligence in Atma Bharat. Artificial intelligence is something like simulation of human intel in machines that are programmed to think like humans, act like humans, and mimic their actions like humans. This is what artificial intelligence is. Since 1983, I'm hearing artificial intelligence. Immediately, it didn't come to my mind because I'm a layman. And at a later stage, yes, this has proven worth watching it. And this is impacting the future of every industry, rather, we should say. Artificial intelligence has its own impact in all the industries, including all the human beings, in other words. And every impact is going to decide intelligence. We are going to hear Dr. Sachin Deshmukh to introduce. I don't have much of words to introduce him because whatever I say will be less. But still, I will try and introduce Dr. Deshmukh. Welcome to you, Dr. Deshmukh, in this webinar series. Dr. Sachin Deshmukh is having a doctorate in management and possesses a high degree of affinity towards use of quantitative techniques in the area of marketing. He is a professor in marketing analysis, statistics, data analytics, and operations research. He is trained on SAS platform and possesses skills in data mining, SAS programming, and data visualization. His teaching experience spans over 15 years in many leading business schools, and he is also a corporate experience of 20 years in pharmaceutical and FMCG industry. He has worked as a full-time visiting faculty in many business schools and has taught statistical analysis to PhD students. Dr. Sachin has an academic research focuses in the statistical models of consumer behavior with special emphasis on heuristics. His doctoral thesis was on impact of heuristics and on brand choice with special reference to FMCG industry. This research also includes application of Bayesian statistics to model consumer behavior and is currently working on statistical tools like Markov chain, Monte Carlo, MC, algorithms, and Gibbs sampling. His current research projects are use of data visualization tools for analyzing data on talent management and talent retention in organizations and cryptocurrencies. Will they change the world economics? That's a very important topic, what you're doing, Dr. Sachin Sharma. In fact, I would also like to come and sit with you to learn what is cryptocurrency and how it is going to impact our country or economy of our country. Dr. Sachin has an educational qualification. He has done his BSc, then MBA, and a PhD. His academic affiliation is approved professor in marketing of University of Mumbai. Dr. Sachin is a member of Bombay Management Association. Is teaching statistical analysis, data mining, base SAS programs, SQL, and macro. His research area is data visualization, Internet of Things, machine learning. His current research is in HR analytics, talent management and talent retention, and Internet of Things. Is an advisory of Rashtriya Research Seva Abhiyan, Government of India, data analytics. Custom programs, he is head executive program in data analysis and faculty development program in data analysis, management program. Yes, research paper, which is, I would say, couple of research paper I'll take. One of his research paper is a brand choice model using multinational logistics regression, and second one is production efficiency in analysis of small hotels in Navi Mumbai. Important attributes considered to Indian female bias and appear purchasing. Is a business analysis in future now and sentiment analysis in machine learning techniques. Publications, he has done a lot of publications. He's working on a paper in HR analysis, analyze talent management and talent retention, as I told already. He is a Dean PGDE program and area chairperson of Center of Excellence in Business Analytics. With this small introduction, rather I should have given a volume of introduction to you, Dr. Sachin. Unfortunately, due to paucity of time, we are cutting short the introduction part of it. Now, it's over to you, Dr. Sachin.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to interact with your students. Well, I would like to start my presentation for all the students across the country.
Sir.
Yeah.
Please, continue. Yes, Dr. Sachin, you're on. You can continue.
Yeah. I'm sharing my slides. I hope you can see the slide.
No. Yeah, it's getting now. Yes, doctor.
Yes. Yeah, is it fine?
Yeah.
Okay. Absolutely. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for joining me on this platform. I will be dividing my talk into three parts. One will be the first one will be a brief on artificial intelligence. Now, this part is for all those who are novice to the field of artificial intelligence. The second one will be the ecosystem that India would require for building up artificial intelligence, using it to make our country Atma Nirbhar or self-sufficient. And then we shall end up with a case study in the healthcare industry. And this case study is coming up from USA. Right. Now, let us try to understand what is this artificial intelligence all about. In computer science, the term artificial intelligence refers to any human-like intelligence exhibited by a computer or a robot or some other machines. In popular usage, are combining these and other capabilities to perform functions a human might perform, such as greeting a hotel guest or a driving car. Frequently, people use phrases like artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning. Are they same? Is there any difference between these? The easiest way to understand or answer to this question is, you can think of artificial intelligence as the entire universe of computing technology that exhibits remotely resembling human intelligence.
Doctor, sorry for interruption. This slides are not getting changed. Please stay.
Sorry. No, I'm on the same slide. I'm on the same slide. Slide number 2. Slide number 2. Okay.
It's only the first one that is appearing.
Okay.
That is, yeah. Now it is changed. Thank you. Please continue. Sorry for that.
Okay. Yeah. So I was talking about whether there is any difference between artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning. So the easiest way to answer this question is you can think of artificial intelligence as the entire universe of computing technology that exhibits remotely resembling human intelligence. Artificial intelligence systems can be like expert systems, problem-solving applications that make decisions based on complex rules. So now what is machine learning? Machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence, as you can see in the diagram. Applications that learn by themselves. It actually reprograms itself as it digests more data to perform a specific task with greater accuracy. Now let us see what is this deep learning in short. So deep learning is a subset of machine learning that teaches itself to perform a specific task with increasingly greater accuracy without human intervention. So I think by this time, the three phrases are quite clear to everyone. There is definitely a difference between artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning. Okay. Now, let us try to delve in to some extent in depth on machine learning. So these machine learning applications are based on a neural network, which is a network of algorithmic calculations that attempts to mimic the perception and thought process of the human brain. At its most basic, a neural network consists of the following parts. So you can see a diagram of where machine learning algorithms process the inputs and apply something called as weights, biases, and thresholds to the inputs. And the third one is an output layer where various conclusions in which the network has various degrees of confidence emerge out. Let us get into some extent into deep learning. Models are based on deep neural networks, the neural networks with multiple hidden layers. So you can find a diagram over here. You have an input layer and a number of hidden layers and an output layer like you had in the previous slide. The only difference here is the number of hidden layers can extend to as many as 100, and I've come across deep learning models which are using hidden layers to the tune of 135. So these deep learning models are based on deep neural networks, the neural networks with multiple hidden layers, sometimes crossing 100, each of which further refines the conclusions of the previous layer. This movement of calculation through the hidden layers to the output layer is called forward propagation. We have another process in this system called backproposition, which identifies errors in calculations, assigns them weights, and pushes them back to previous layers to refine or train models. Now, while some deep learning models work with labeled data, many can work with unlabeled data. I hope some people might be knowing the concepts of labeled data and unlabeled data. Deep learning models are also capable of unsupervised learning, detecting features and patterns in data with the barest minimum of human supervision. So that is all about deep learning. Now let us try to understand something more about the applications of artificial intelligence. So I have listed about 9 applications. I mean, the list is not exhaustive, but this is good enough for us to understand how can we make our country Atma Nirbhar or self-reliant. The first application in my list is the speech recognition. Now, the speech recognition is also called as speech to text, or in short, it is known as STT. TV voice remotes, voice-enabled text messaging and GPS, and voice-driven phone answering menus. The next on the list is natural language processing, and you can find a number of applications of natural language processing. Now, in short, it is known as NLP, And this NLP enables a software application, computer or a machine to understand, interpret, and generate human text. NLP is the artificial intelligence behind digital assistants. You might have heard of Siri, or you might have heard of Amazon's Alexa. You might have heard of chatbots and other text-based virtual assistants. Now, some NLP uses sentiment analytics to detect the mood, the attitudes, or other subjective qualities in the language. And you will find that the sentiment analytics is widely used by the researchers on social media. They collect some data on social media and they try to analyze the data to understand the moods, the attitudes, and other subjective qualities of the people interacting on such social media. One such example I can give is the use of all this in the election of USA. I think Barack Obama had made use of all these technologies to a wider extent, and the result was, for the second time, he was in the presidential office. The next concept is image recognition, which is also known as computer vision or machine learning. This AI technology that can identify and classify objects, people, writing, and even actions within still or moving images. Typically, we can say that this image recognition concept is driven by deep neural networks. Image recognition is used in the fingerprints identification systems, in mobile check deposit applications, in video and medical images analysis, self-driving cars, and many more. Fourth one is real-time recommendations, and you will find that AI is widely used in the industries like retail and entertainment. If you go on their website, you will find that a lot of neural networks are operational in the background, and these are responsible to recommend additional purchases or media which appeal to a customer based on the customer's past activities, the past activities of other customers, and many other sides. Researchers have found that while these industries like retail and entertainment are using artificial intelligence, they are successful in increasing their sales from 5% to 30%, anywhere from 5% to 30%. So look at the applications of artificial intelligence in the world of retail and the entertainment industry. We have something like virus and spam prevention, and everybody today is working on emails, and you would find that some of the emails are marked as spam. So what is the technology that is working behind in the background? It is obviously but natural artificial intelligence. Now, once driven by a rule-based expert system, today's virus and spam detection software employs deep neural networks that can learn to detect new types of viruses and spam as quickly as cyber criminals can dream them up. Then we have automated stock trading. People might have heard about algorithmic trading. Now, these are designed to optimize stock portfolios. Artificial intelligence-driven high-frequency trading platforms make thousands or sometimes even millions of trades per day without human intervention. So you will find artificial intelligence getting into the world of finance. You will find some companies have installed robots who are recommending investments to the customers visiting their offices. Mind by no human intervention, but robots are sent in the offices of the finance companies who are advising the investors to invest in stocks. Then comes ride-share services. In our country, we have companies like Uber and Ola. And these companies as well use artificial intelligence to match up passengers with drivers to minimize waiting times and the detours. The artificial intelligence behind provides reliable estimated time available and even eliminates the need for surge pricing during traffic high traffic periods. Then you might have come across some household robots. These robots are available in the Indian markets as well. You might have heard of route for vacuuming the floor. Now, this similar type of technology drives robotic lawnmowers and also swimming pool cleaners. So, artificial intelligence is no more, the technology for the industry. It has entered into our household, and slowly you will find that even our lives will change. By the year 2030, you will find that artificial intelligence have become, or rather shall become, the part of our life. There is a lot of things to say about this, but because of the shortage of time, I would be restricting myself to my slides only. The next one is autopilot technology. Now, this has been flying commercial and military aircraft for several decades. Autopilot is not a new thing, but today, autopilot uses a combination of sensors, GPS technology, image recognition, collision avoidance technology, robotics, and some natural language processing to guide an aircraft safely through the skies and update the human pilots as and when required. Now, depending on who you ask, today's commercial pilots, can you imagine, today's commercial pilots spend as little as 3.5 minutes manually piloting a flight. So that is a boon of artificial intelligence to the aviation industry. Okay, so let us try to understand what is there on the next slide. And we are starting with our today's topic, and that is the role of artificial intelligence in building Atma Nirbhar Bharat. I hope those who are novice to this particular field of artificial intelligence might not now have some idea about what artificial intelligence is doing and will do to the society. Okay, so as far as India is concerned, we all know that India is the fastest growing economy with the second largest population in the world and has a significant stake in the artificial intelligence revolution. Now, if at all India wants to build the artificial intelligence ecosystem so that our country, our society can benefit out of it, I have designed about 4 pillars on which we can build the artificial projects. Like we have seen in the previous list, there are a lot many areas where you can bring in artificial intelligence. Okay, but the thing is that it would be beneficial for us, for our country, to initially or in the initial stage concentrate on a few areas, and that is where the need arises. The need is for exploring areas for the implementation of AI projects. Not all projects should be started at a single go. The second pillar which I am citing is developing effective strategies for creating favorable ecosystem. Now here comes the role of our government. There is a need for the government to develop strategies, for the implementation of AI projects. We should aim at enhancing and empowering human capabilities to address the challenges of access, affordability, shortage, and inconsistency of skilled expertise. So effective implementation of AI initiatives to evolve scalable solutions for our emerging economy. This is only possible when our government intervenes in this area and ensures the effective usage of artificial intelligence within a budget. Now we can, the third pillar is collaboration with experts. You can find many experts in the industry, and it is very much necessary for our government to have collaborations with the expert. In fact, the government has already started collaborating with the industries and the expert. But we have to bring in more experts as possible so that our country is benefited out of it. I would suggest to build an effective AI ecosystem for our country is coordination for research with academic, good number of good institutions across our country who are working hard on this particular area, machine learning, robotics. So I think AICT also is doing a very fine job, in to include all such institutions and motivate them for research in these areas. So I feel that with these 4 pillars, our country can have a substantial AI ecosystem. Okay, applications that have maximum social impacts. Now, there is a need to give trust to identify applications with maximum impact, a willingness to learn from the best of the world, and when it comes to recent technology advancement in AI, from an application perspective, the approach should be to identify sectors that may have the potential of greatest impact while adopting AI solutions, and hence require the government to play a major role in developing the implementation roadmap of artificial intelligence. Okay, now let us try to identify some important sectors. So from about a list of 9, I'm coming down to 5, and let us try to understand how these sectors can help our country to be Atma Nirbhar. Okay, the first one is the healthcare. So by adopting artificial intelligence, we can provide increased access and affordability of quality healthcare. And this will be especially a boon to all the rural people of our country who are deprived of a good healthcare services, and even the connectivity to the internet is a problem. So it is quite important for the government to look into this particular sector. The second one is agriculture. Agriculture can enhance farmers' income, can increase farm productivity and reduce wastage. Third one is education. Needless to tell, for the last 1 year or so, our educational institutions, are facing hell of problems in providing access for lectures and contents, and also delivering quality education to their students. So looking into this third sector or implementing AI in this third sector can be of benefit. The fourth one is smart cities and infrastructure. Now, smart city again is a buzzword, and almost countries of European Union, the USA, and including India, they are working on smart cities with a motive to give better standard of living to the citizens. So how artificial intelligence can benefit smart cities and its infrastructure? Now, artificial intelligence can provide efficient connectivity for the ever increasing mobility. Okay, now what you require to create an effective ecosystem. So infrastructural supply side interventions must be planned properly by the government for creating a larger ecosystem of AI development. Therefore, creation of data trust, the rolling out of digital connectivity infrastructure such as 5G network or full fiber networks, common supercomputing facilities, fiscal incentives, and creation of open source software libraries, I would recommend are some of the areas in which the government should focus. Finally, what are we going to achieve by using artificial intelligence? Now, there is a report published by Accenture, okay, in which it has mentioned that artificial intelligence will provide a framework, okay, to all the major countries of the world who would be implementing it, especially in case of India's annual growth. It is going to add to the annual growth rate by about 1.3 percentage points. and this is going to happen by 2035. Putting in other words, using artificial intelligence in the Indian economy is going to boost the GDP by 1.3 percentage point by 2035. If you expect me to speak in terms of dollars, then artificial intelligence has the capacity to generate about $1 trillion, or rather add to our Indian economy to the tune of $1 trillion by the year 2035. Now that you can understand the importance of artificial intelligence in the Indian economy. So artificial intelligence, is day by day becoming so powerful that it is enabling or it is playing a very major role in settling socio-economic values in India. Now, these are the sectors which I have identified for. The first one, which the government should concentrate upon, is the healthcare sector. I've spoken a bit about it, but then let us try to elaborate further. Now, the application of artificial intelligence in healthcare can help address issues of high barriers to access to healthcare facilities, as I mentioned earlier, particularly in rural areas that suffer from poor connectivity and limited supply of healthcare professionals. Now, this can be achieved through implementation of use cases such that the artificial intelligence-driven diagnosis, personalized treatment, early identification of potential pandemics, and image diagnostic. Now, everybody knows that if we have a healthy population and an educated population, GDP should not be a problem. Always our country can experience a higher GDP growth rate in the time to come. So what matters is a healthy and educated population of our country. And therefore, I feel that healthcare should be taken care of by the government. And I'm really happy to say that the current government is definitely working on this particular sector. New drug discovery, and this is quite interesting. Artificial intelligence in new drug discovery. Now, everybody has gone through that worst situation over the last 1 year. So developing drugs to combat COVID-19 is a global priority nowadays, requiring communities to come together to fight the spread of infection. Across the world, researchers with backgrounds in machine learning and life sciences are collaborating, sharing data sets and tools to develop machine learning methods that can identify novel cures for COVID-19. And this is not the only case with COVID, trying to find out vaccines for COVID-19, but you can use artificial intelligence in other new drug discovery cases. As far as agriculture is concerned, AI holds the promise of driving a food revolution and meeting the increased demand for food. According to some reports, there is a global need to come. What other benefits this sector can have, due to the implementation of AI? So AI also has the potential in the agricultural sector, such as inadequate demand prediction, lack of assured irrigation, overuse or misuse of pesticides and fertilizers. Now, some use cases can include improvement in crop yield through real-time advisory, advanced detection of pest attacks, and prediction of crop prices to inform sowing practices. Friends, you might have heard of some tractors which are loaded with artificial intelligence technology. Now, these tractors are advising the farmers as to when it will rain, what is the right time to sow the seeds, what is the right time to supply fertilizers to the field, or what is the right time to spray for insecticides and pesticides on the field. All these advices are provided by the artificial intelligence system embedded in the tractors. Now, this is a very fine example of drone spraying pesticides over a field. So like drones, you can develop robots who can take care of the fields of the farmers. For instance, as of today, many farmers are spraying insecticides and pesticides to avoid crop damage, and the spraying is all over the field. Now there are some companies who have developed some robots. These robots are capable of identifying unwanted weeds that are growing in the field and destroying the crops. So these robots are loaded with the pesticides and insecticides. Having located the growth of weeds in the field, the robot will go to that exact place and will try to do the spraying. So there is no need for the farmers to spend money for spraying the entire field. The farmers can save a lot of money on insecticides and pesticides by using such robots. Again, there are so many examples in the world of agriculture which we can cite, but due to the constraint shall include autonomous fleets for ride sharing, semi-autonomous features such as driver assist, and predict engine monitoring and maintenance. Now, the other areas that AI can impact in this sector includes autonomous trucking and delivery and improved traffic management. Okay, now this is very important as far our Atma Nirbhar Bharat is concerned, and that is application of AI in the manufacturing. Manufacturing industry is expected to be one of the biggest beneficiaries of AI-based solutions. Now, this is possible through flexible and adaptable technical systems to automate processes and machinery to respond to unfamiliar or unexpected situations such as breakdowns. And this is possible by making smart decisions through the use of AI. Now, the impact areas in the field of manufacturing shall include R&D efforts, supply chain management, demand forecasting, production. AI can achieve cost reduction and increase efficiency. Maintenance, predictive maintenance and increased asset utilization. You will find scores of examples in the aviation industry where predictive models are used, which are based on AI, and they detect the failure of a spare part before it actually fails, so that it is replaced and the flight is smooth and there is no damage. Okay, so like this, you will find a number of machine algorithms are being used to identify defects in the spare parts of the machinery, and also used for finding out defects and deviation in product features. Apart from this, you can also find examples of application in in-plant logistics and warehousing. Currently, my students are working on this in-plant logistics. The company for which the students are working has a very large warehouse, and it becomes difficult for the storekeeper to identify or locate the exact position of a particular product. So the students are working upon a system where the storekeeper can identify the location of a particular product with the help of his mobile. So let us wait and watch the situation for the results. Okay, as far as the energy sector is concerned, again you will find that AI forecasting to decrease unpredictability and increase efficiency in power balancing and usage. Now, artificial intelligence can energy through intelligent grids, which should be enabled by smart meters, and also improve the reliability and affordability of photovoltaic energy. Now, similar to the manufacturing sector, artificial intelligence may also be deployed for predictive maintenance of grid infrastructure. Okay, again, this is going to be and access issues, which are observed in the Indian education sector, especially in the last 1 year. Now, potential use cases I can cite shall include augmenting and enhancing the learning experience through personalized training, automating and expediting administrative tasks, and predicting the need for student intervention to reduce dropouts or recommend. A number of companies are already into the application of AI in this sector. Okay, now having said about the ecosystem that is required by our country to build an efficient AI system, I would like to end my talk, with a case study. How analytics helps hospitals to stop a killer. You will find in this particular slide two pictures which are exhibiting a disease called as sepsis. Now, this sepsis is a serious medical condition that occurs when the body unleashes the full force of the immune system in response to an infection. The immune chemicals trigger widespread inflammation that can result in impaired blood flow and damage to or failure of the body organs. Now, according to a survey conducted, 1 in 4 ICU patients. Now, why I'm talking about ICU patient? Because the patients, contact sepsis in the hospitals or in the ICUs. So one out of 4 ICU patients get sepsis in India, and the death rate is about 50%. In USA, over 1 million. So in USA, sepsis is the 10th leading cause of deaths. Now, this has caused the insurance companies to settle claims of millions of dollars due to the deaths or settling down the hospital bills of their customers. These companies wanted some solution to curb the deaths so that they can get some relaxation in the claim settlement. Okay, let us try to forge ahead. Let us try to understand how sepsis spreads, because without understanding these facts, you cannot arrive at a solution. Okay, so let us try to understand how sepsis spreads. Now, sepsis frequently arises in hospitals, as was already earlier mentioned, because it always stems from another medical condition, like an infection in the lungs, urinary tract, or skin, or appendicitis, or as a result of invasive medical procedure. Now, this medical procedure can be something like the insertion of a vascular catheter that introduces bacteria into the bloodstream. The signs that a patient has, systemic inflammatory response syndrome. In short, it is called as a SIRS, and this is a precondition of sepsis, precursor to sepsis. Now, it can be very difficult to diagnose this state, and it is also difficult to diagnose even in a hospital setting, because this precursor to sepsis, that is SIRS, mimic other conditions. Now, the common symptoms of SIRS or sepsis include fever, chills, or rapid breathing, and increased heart rates, rashes, confusion, and disorientation in the patients. So, diagnosing sepsis often requires a blood test to look for an abnormal number of white blood cells or an elevated lactate level, which correlates with the severity of the condition. You can also make use of chest X-rays or CT scans to identify such infection. Okay. Now, let us try to understand how sepsis spreads. Unfortunately, these symptoms often occur after a patient has been discharged from the hospital. The condition arises unpredictably and can progress rapidly, which means a patient could have C that has gone into a sepsis, can be permanent. So it is vital to catch SIRS early before it can progress. Sepsis isn't just a killer. It's also a massive cost for the healthcare industry, as I mentioned earlier. The Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality in USA found that sepsis was far and away the most expensive condition treated in the US hospitals, and the insurance company had to sell out more than $20 billion, okay, for settling claims and settling down the hospital bills of the customers. Okay, I'm sorry for this. Okay, so what is the solution for controlling deaths due to sepsis? Here you will find there is a major role played by big data, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, machine learning algorithms. In fact, here is where all those big data buzzwords come in. There is a company called Hitachi Consulting. Now, this Hitachi Consulting joined forces with medical device maker, which is Vital Connect, and an analytics specialist company named Clear Story Data. So all these three organizations, along with medical fraternity, came together to find a solution on this problem of sepsis. So here is a solution which is created by all these major organizations. Now you will find that the Vital Connects company created a health patch. Now this health patch is worn on the chest directly by the patient over his heart, and this health patch is designed to monitor a patient's vital signs and track other information including physical activity, the posture of the patient's body, even the falls of the patient. And it connects wirelessly to a smartphone of the patient when an app can show statistics such as the number of steps he's walking, the heart rate while the patient. So the smartphone apps transmit the patient's clinical data to a cloud-based repository where it is masked up with the existing patient data, which is collected from other data sources. The caregivers then use the Clear Story company's data to analyze and correlate the data against the systematic patterns to detect the potential attack of SIRS in the patient. Okay. Now, throw off data, as I've already mentioned, the heart rate, temperature, and even the body posture. Your posture changes when you have sepsis. You start slowing down in how you walk. And if the patient is actually showing that a couple of these attributes are starting to hit a certain numbers, they are on their way to having a high risk situation. So caretakers need to see this data in real time. Now this Clear Story company provides a fast cycle near real-time measurements on the massive volumes of biosensor data analyzed by the algorithms modeled after clinical practice standards used in conventional human clinical monitoring disciplines. A patient's storyboard identifies and alerts clinicians to patients who might be at risk based upon the biosensor measures. Then serum level testing can be used to confirm whether the patient is having an attack of SIRS or is gone into a massive septic attack. So this is the dashboard of a patient which reveals how the data are analyzed. Finally, every country has this problem, and most of them are now trying to adopt this solution to fight against this dangerous disease called sepsis. This groundbreaking solutions enable hospitals and the clinic caregivers to make fast, real-time, data-driven decisions that have an immediate impact on patients' care and diagnosis while reducing healthcare expenditures. The solution exemplifies the speed, the scale, and the power of next-generation analysis to serve up critical information in real time. From my side, it is done. Thank you very much for patiently listening to me. Thank you.
It is rather very, very informative session, Dr. Sachin.
Thank you, sir.
A layman can also understand what is the use of data, analysis, outputs, calculations, algorithms. It's not simple to explain all these terms in a very, very understanding language to even a person who is not privy to artificial intelligence as a subject like me. That's really fantastic presentation, and I'm sure you have done justice the way you actually do it. Right? It's not first time that you are doing justice. I'm sure you have done justice the way you are doing it in the past also and in future also. It's really informative session for us. It is really a knowledge sharing thing which you have done for people, many who are new and who are in the industry. The kind of participation also was fantastic in this webinar series. I'm sure our students and staff would be definitely benefited. Not only students and staff, but all across the world, whoever is listening today and who will join us in YouTube in the later stage in future also. It's very heartening to have you in this kind of webinar in a very short span of time. I must bring it on record. Our great friend Dr. Swapnil, who was coordinating with my team member Captain Ravshankar in terms of discussing with you and fixing up the time and date and all. You are so kind enough to give your precious time to us in this webinar series, Dr. Swapnil. This is Dr. Swapnil. This is not only for Sachin sir, and this is for almost your participation in everyday webinar session since the day it has started. Thank you, Dr. Swapnil, once again. We are now back in webinar and the question answer session, Dr. Sachin. Very few questions. It is really heartening to acknowledge that a couple of questions which were there in the list have already been addressed by you. It's very difficult task or Milky Way 2, which was developed by China, 1300 odd scientists, the supercomputer, the kind of impact it has in the world in artificial intelligence. How are we placed in terms of with this kind of supercomputers developed by us?
So definitely, as far as my reading goes, China is very much into supercomputing and claiming that the entire military operations will be 2025. I have not touched this particular sector of defense because of the time constraints, but mind well, this area of defense, the artificial intelligence has a very major role to play. Again, there is one more sector that is coming up, and that is the space technology. And it is not only the Army, Navy, or the Air Force who would be at war with countries, but the fourth dimension is coming into the picture, and that is space. So now the wars will be fought in space, where you would require supercomputing and artificial intelligence. As far as our position compared to China is concerned, we are slightly lagging behind. But I'm sure with the current government policies and the importance given to artificial intelligence, we should be, at par by the year 2025.
That's really great. There is one question which is coming now, Dr. Sachin. How can this artificial intelligence, which can be used very effectively in defense sector, especially snow-cladded areas like Kashmir and high ranges, Galwan and so on, so forth? Can you just throw some light on it?
So is it related to the environment or is it related to military operations?
It is related to military operations, not environment.
Okay. So again, if you compare our military strength with the Chinese, as far as this AI is concerned, Chinese are using drone technology for transportation of material. Okay, we are not yet into that. We are trying to, develop airstrips. We are trying to transport the material on donkeys' backs. I have seen all these pictures in news recently. So again, it is we are way ahead into this, and currently we are lagging behind. Okay, one best thing that I can cite is the different hills which were captured by Indians. Even though Chinese had all the machinery, all the infrastructure to climb the hills. Okay, our army was the first one to get at the hilltops and capture. But if this is done with the help of drone technology, it can be much more faster, and we can reach places before time, and the military can take care of the situation.
Great, great, Dr. Sachin. Now, we are talking about constructive use of this artificial intelligence. There are apprehensions, not apprehensions, it's a fact also, that artificial intelligence is uh, used in destructive areas also, like terrorists and so on and so forth. How the government can curb this menace?
Sir, can you repeat the question? There is a disturbance in the voice.
Yeah. See, we are talking. We have always talked about constructive use of artificial intelligence in our discussion so far. There is a apprehension that destructive forces like terrorists and so on and so forth, they are also using artificial intelligence for destruction. How do we curb this manners? Because controlling system should be there. What kind of regulatory or controlling systems we can have it to curb this manners?
Okay, again, I think this is a problem which can be very well tackled by the ministry. Okay, so if at all you want to put curbs on the usage of artificial intelligence, then the government has to play a major role in developing policies for the usage of artificial intelligence.
Great. Now, can you just throw some light on the best artificial system softwares which can be used by students fraternity?
See, artificial intelligence, like I mentioned before, has various subsets. Like it can have machine learning, it can have deep learning, it can have robotics. Okay, so if at all, can start with machine learning algorithms. So to start with, I would recommend them to learn algorithms like regression modeling, and then they can use logistic regression for practice. They have neural networks. They have support vector machines. So these are all simple algorithms which they can start studying.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Sachin. I have one more question, which is the last question. There are many questions which are coming. I will send it separately for answering those questions to individuals to you directly. Due to
Okay, sir.
paucity,
Before you give me another question, just let me know that is your university having this particular subject in
yes,
the
we do
curriculum?
have. Yes,
Oh,
we do.
great.
We do have. It's
So I think
this
that
university. This university is a university which is owned by Ministry of Education, and
right.
this has somewhere around 35 departments, including we are into this also. Though
Okay,
it's very
great.
rural, very advanced. We have physics, chemistry, mathematics, and all these things are very highly advantageous. Management, agriculture, and so on and so forth. So it's a core subject for us also.
Okay.
I would rather put it on record to invite you for a lecture in artificial intelligence to our students and staff fraternity to enrich them.
Why not, sir? Why not?
Now we are going to the last question, Dr. Sachin. Is from me like to understand what is the kind of role of image recognition, rapid image recognition, that is RIR in artificial intelligence.
Okay, I can cite some examples in the medical world. Okay, so in case of cancer detection, image processing can play a very major role. So it can cut short the time of detection of cancer in a patient. So like this, I'm not great in the I don't have great knowledge in the field of medicine, but definitely X-rays or the other images that are captured by medical devices can be analyzed with the help of image processing software. And I feel Python is a great platform through which one can go for analyzing the images. So this is very much important, as far as detection of disease in a patient is concerned. It can cut short the time of our detection.
Thank you, Dr. In spite of your very busy schedule, Dr. Sachin. Thank you so much for this.
Yeah,
Anyway,
thank you, sir.
I have to
Yeah.
make a formal closure also. Today we had Dr. Sachin Deshmukh with us in this webinar, and he has explained us the role of artificial intelligence in Atma Bharat. Thank you so much, Dr. Sachin Deshmukh. Jai
Thank you,
Hind.
sir. Thank you.
Jai Hind.
Thank you. Jai Hind.